Well, if you followed along in the last video, you would have learned that we've got everything done on the chassis of the truck, from the PTO and pump installation down to the valve body, hydraulic tank, so on and so forth. So we've got all of that set up and ready to go, and now we are down to more or less the last piece of the puzzle here, and that is the rail system. We're going to put an angle iron rail system on the truck so that it can have different bodies put on there, whether it's a silage box, a manure tank, flatbed, what have you. This is the material that we're going to use here. It's 4x7 by 3/8 angle iron. I've got a piece setting in the saw. I've got my sills at the right length. That stuff comes in 40-foot lengths. I had them cut down to 24 foot. I think that's a 24-footer anyways. And I had a couple of drops. We used one of the drops for the bumper on the back of the truck. Then we've got another piece left over here, and I got one on the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut cross members for the angle iron sills, and we're going to cut them at 29 7/8 of an inch. I've cut this before with the plasma cutter. I've cut it with the torch before. I've had Klein / Alro Steel cut it for me before. Now that we have this saw, we can cut it ourselves. The only thing we save by them doing it is a little bit of time, and it is also worth it to have them do it if you're looking to save on time. Nice thing about this, it makes a nice straight cut. Bang, it is right square. It'll be right on the line. We're not going to bore you with every single cut, but we'll just kind of show you what this looks like once this gets cut through. I think you've already seen it. Anyhow, well, we now have this rail system all laid out, and I've got a tape measure on the truck frame. I gotta write down where we can put the cross members in on the rails here. So what we're gonna have is two back-to-back up front, one about here, and then one in front of the hoist, and then two in behind. And then the winch, of course, is going to sit in this hole right here. So we'll go ahead and lay this out the rest of the way and start welding our pieces in. Flip it, roll it, do whatever. Then we can set the winch, get the motor on there, get all that stuff done, get it all completely welded. Then set it on the truck, tie in the tail hinge to the rail system, and then we can put the body on and then start putting the tabs on there accordingly. So we'll keep at it here. Well, here we are. We've got all of our cross members welded into place. We welded the top, I rolled it over, and I've got the bottom all welded in. Now we'll get this back to the upright position. I'll go ahead and get the winch out of the box, and we'll get the winch mounted, and then we've got to make a pulley up to put a pulley bracket to put on the front here. So we've got some real nice weather here. It's raining out also nicely. The rain that we should have got back in the first part of June, we're getting here in July. So everybody likes a nice random thought for Nate for today. You got any random thoughts or expressions that you want to share with us for today? No. Okay, that's fair enough. So, alrighty, we'll get after it here. Right, Nathan? Okay. That welding rod is, you throw that out? Oh, okay, all right. Okay. All right. So the basic framework here is all set to be setting on the truck. But before we set it on the truck, we need to make a pulley bracket for the front, and we need to set the winch in on the back. Now you'll happen to notice that these two angle irons in the back here are kind of laying a little bit. And the reason why I did that is because we have some hoses here that come over the top of the frame. I'm going to be about an inch, maybe an inch and a half thick here with the rubber on top of the frame. But I have had to coat that piece of angle iron out before, and I don't really want to do that. So we just laid it down a little bit. We've got about 2 inches of room underneath that angle iron. So what I have here is a pulley that I need to make a bracket for. I'm going to put 2 pieces of angle iron, run the pulley in between the angle iron. However, what I need to do is I need to drill a 3/4 inch hole for that pulley. Now, we are going to use the V-bore drill. The bits that came with the drill, I have 18 millimeter and I have 20 millimeter. I don't have a an actual 3/4 inch bit. So I've got some bits here that we bought from Amazon. Here is an actual one right here, HSS. Annular cutter 3/4 with a 1 inch depth. That of course is going to go right up in the chuck. I also bought a case of them here, an assortment. I don't know what sizes these are here. We've got 1/2 inch all the way up to 1 1/16. But they didn't have 5/8 in this kit. They didn't have 3/8 or 3/4. They don't have 7/8, and they don't have 1 inch. So we'll have to deal with getting some odds and ends pieces here. I have a, oh, what size is this one? I want to say this one's 1 inch. Where is the size here? I don't know. I guess I got to open it to find out. This one's maybe 5/8. Yeah, this one's 5/8. Now, I have played around with this drill a little bit here, and I did get it figured out as far as how to keep the head suspended. And there is 3 jam bolts here that push in on this little track that the drill slides up and down on. You just loosen the nut and then tighten in the jam bolt, and then that puts enough resistance against the head of the drill so it's not all the time falling down on you. So we've got that adjusted. The other thing that I was gonna do and I didn't do it, I was going to pop this snap ring off and flip this handle around, see if I can't get the handle on the other side, but it's probably gonna interfere with the cord here. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna get our holes drilled. This is the 1300 watt drill. They do make a 1400 watt drill, and that drill has variable speed and reverse. They're gonna send that to me. I do not know if I'm gonna get that in time to demonstrate it on this job. I have been thoroughly impressed with this drill. I didn't think it was gonna last the whole job, but as it turns out, it's quite remarkable with what it will do. Now, they had sent me the 1400 watt, however, they sent me another one just like this one, and I said, you know, you sent the wrong drill. I already have this one. So they confirmed that they screwed up and they shipped the wrong one, and they said to keep it. So I ended up giving the other one that I have received here. I gave that to Bill, that guy that was drilling the well here. He has a Milwaukee, and he does a lot of his own work on his equipment, like what we're doing. And I was explaining to him how handy this drill was, being lighter and whatever. And he says, you know what, that is the cat's meow. So I gave him the 13, well, it's the same thing as this one, on anticipation that we're going to be getting the 1400 watt, and we'll demonstrate that as soon as we can do something with it. So let's go ahead and drill down through both of these plates here and get this bracket made up to hold this pulley, and then get it welded on to the front of this rail system. Then we'll get our winch out of the box and we'll get that set up and get that welded into place, and then we can just take this, set it down on the truck, get our tail hinge all welded on, wrap some cable up, go down, get the silage box, pull that on, and then start making our tabs up, the bolt down tabs that go on the bottom of that rail system to secure the body to the rail. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so we have our steel all marked out. I originally had it marked on this end, but if you'll notice, we have taken the handle off and switched it. That's probably the way I'm gonna leave this drill, just so I can turn this on and off from the right side, run the handle on the left, and so on and so forth. The reason why they have the handle on the other side is they have their oiler set up for the left side. So we have things figured out as far as how to keep that drill head in place. We tighten up the friction little doohickeys here so that it squeezes the track out or in or whatever, and it'll hold itself up into place. So we'll go ahead and put our 3/4 inch annular cutter in there, stick this drill down to the piece of steel here, drill it. We'll drill both of them at the same time, and then we'll get this shaped and then weld it onto the framework. So this is one of the Amazon specials that I bought here. This comes with its own pin, center pin. There we go. Shut up. Alright, got our magnet set. Now I just need to get some the hogwash. Oh, did I put the right size on there? Yes, I did. 3/4, right? Yes. There, just kick that out. We had to stop so that we could let that plug out. Now we'll drill the bottom plate. Do is we'll just trace out this pulley and we'll get these pieces shaped so that it looks all nice like sitting on the front of that. So we've got a nice 3/4 inch hole down right on in there, and that is going to match the inside hole of that guy right there. So yeah. So we have the pulley in place. That's all securely welded down. Now we are going to mount the winch. Got the winch sitting on the bench here. This is a Pierce winch. I think it's a 12,000 pound winch. I forget. But at any rate, we need to measure things out. We've got the mounting brackets here. We need to cut them down to size so they'll fit in between the sill. We have an orbit motor here. We're going to go ahead and get that installed, get the angle irons in place, and then we will weld her down. So we do have a handle to go on here that will run it from freewheeling position to winding, winch, what have you. So let's go ahead and get after it here. All right, so we have this winch all assembled, have the orbit motor on there. What we're going to do now is we're going to carry it over, weld it in the back side of that rail assembly. I've got to pull some measurements here, and then we'll get that welded in. Then we can lift this up and set it onto the frame of the truck here. So bear with me for a few moments, and we'll get some welding done here. Well, that is setting into place. We can't have it too low. We can't have it too high. If it's too low, the cable is going to drag on the top of our cross members. If it's too high, the bottom of the body will clean that breather off of the gearbox there. So we'll go ahead and get this welded into place and set our rubber pieces on the frame so that we can get the proper height above the frame, and then we can work on welding the tail hinge in. So let's get some welding done here. Well, as you can see, we have the rail system setting on the truck, and that's where we are going to go ahead and sign off from this video. And the next video we'll come back at you with actually doing the install of the tail hinge on the rail system. We'll get a cable wrapped around that winch, pull the box on, and then we can start putting the tabs on this frame assembly to bolt to the bottom of the box. So with that being said, that is gonna do it for this video. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.